Thanks for joining us from the Ohio AgNet, Voice You Know with the News You Trust studio. Sponsored by BASF, where you can count on the trusted performance of Elvivo seed treatment to protect your soybean crop. I am Allison Kinney. Happy Veterans Day to all those veterans out there. Now, before we get to some agricultural news, to Ty Higgins for some special Veterans Day programming.
Mobilizing veterans to feed America. That's the mission of the Farmer Veteran Coalition. On this Veterans Day, we learn more about this organization, giving our veterans an opportunity to earn a meaningful and sustainable place in the agricultural community. Mike Burgett is the president of the Farmer Veteran Coalition's Ohio chapter. He says there are many correlations between military life and agriculture.
There's a saying in the military, plan never meets first contact with the enemy, and farming is a lot like that. You have a great plan for the season, and Mother Nature, animals have their own input on the results of that. So it's very much like the military, the outdoors. It really draws military members to don't want to be cooped up in an office.
Burgett was born into the farm life, but he says that's not the case for all members of the Farmer Veteran Coalition.
Some people, like me, are from a rural area and realize when they go away, whether it's the military or the school, that they miss it and it's part of them, and they return to the farm. Other people, whether it's working in the dirt, working around animals, they find it healing for them and their experiences through the military. And other people, they have that green thumb and they may want to turn that garden into, an urban farm, doing hydroponics or you name it.
Through his experiences on the battlefield or in the hayfield, Burgett says he wouldn't change a thing.
I love the farm and I love being a soldier. 34 years in boots. I'm getting to the end of my career now as a colonel, but both of them have become a part of who I am.
To learn more about the Farmer Veteran Coalition, get involved or donate, visit farmvetco.org or ohiofarmerveteran.org. For the Ohio AgNet, I'm Ty Higgins reporting.
Thanks, Ty. Now let's get into those headlines. The National Oilseed Producers Association and the American Soybean Association expressed appreciation to the Environmental Protection Agency for continuing to address the backlog of small refinery exemptions it inherited. The groups thanked the agency for returning retired RINs for SRE petitions prior to 2023 and continued to urge the EPA to ensure all active RINs are reallocated into renewable volume obligations moving forward. Another 500+ million RINs of lost demand is the last thing our soybean farmers and processors need right now, said NOPA President and CEO Devin Malger and ASA CEO Stephen Kenzie. The time has come to finalize the RVOs with full reallocation of those eroded gallons before the end of the calendar year to provide market certainty. NOPA and ASA strongly support 100% reallocation of exempted renewable fuel volumes as the EPA continues to finalize 2026-2027 RVOs and the supplemental rule on the treatment of SRES. Also making headlines today, global food commodity prices dropped in October, the second straight monthly decline. The United Nations Food and Agricultural Organization said prices were weighed down by abundant supplies. The FAO Food Price Index averaged 126.4 points in October of 2025, down 2.1 points or 1.6% from a revised 128.5 in September. After the peak in March of 2022, the index remained 21% lower than the high from 3 years ago. Lower prices for cereal, dairy products, meat, and sugar outweighed grains and vegetable oils, keeping the overall food price index below its October 2024 level and 33.8 points under the 2022 high point. The sugar price index dropped 5.3% from September to its lowest point since December of 2020, pressured by robust production in Brazil, Thailand, and India. The dairy index dropped 3.4% because of a steep decline in butter prices due to large imports from the EU and New Zealand. And rounding out the headlines, President Trump recently called on the Department of Justice to investigate the beef processing sector, and the Meat Institute issued a statement reacting to the announcement. Despite high consumer prices for beef packers have been losing money because the price of cattle is at record highs, said Julie Anna Potts, the president and CEO of the Meat Institute. For more than a year, beef packers have been operating at a loss due to the tight cattle supply and strong demand. She pointed out that the beef industry is heavily regulated and market transactions are transparent. The government's own data from USDA confirms that the beef packing sector is experiencing catastrophic losses, and experts predict that it will continue into 2026. Yes!
Get the equipment and trucks you need at the Ritchie Brothers' next Great Lakes Regional event on November 12th and 13th. This absolute unreserved auction will feature online bidding, and items are located in Columbus, Chicago, and Detroit. Choose from close to 3,000 items, including a wide selection of construction equipment, semi-trucks, and more. Don't miss Ritchie Brothers' Great Lakes Regional event on November 12th and 13th. For more details, visit rbauction.com. Again, that's rbauction.com.
Now let's take a look at the markets, brought to you by Seed Consultants. Simply better performance. Learn more online at seedconsultants.com. December corn closing in today up 2 1/4 at $4.32. March corn is up 2 1/2 at $4.47. November soybeans are down 2 3/4 at $11.13 1/4, and December wheat is up 1/4 cent at $5.36. Thanks for joining us. You're listening to the Ohio AgNet.